You know, getting older has a way of whispering things to us that we didn't hear before. It's in the little moments, when your knees ache after a short walk, or when your hands tingle as you reach for your morning cup of coffee. You tell yourself it's just age, just time catching up. But what if it's not only that? What if those small signs, the swelling, the stiffness, the weakness, are your body's quiet cry for help? A signal that deep inside something vital is slipping away. Collagen, the invisible thread that holds your joints, your skin, even your nerves together. I remember meeting Helen, a 68-year-old retired teacher from Arizona. She used to love gardening, but one day she realized she couldn't kneel down without pain shooting through her legs. Her doctor told her it was just wear and tear. But when we looked closer, it wasn't just aging, it was collagen loss. The good news, that story didn't end in pain. Because Helen made one simple change. She began rebuilding her collagen, not with pills or pricey treatments, but with everyday foods that work with the body, not against it. And within 8 weeks, she said something I'll never forget. "I feel like I've got my legs back." You see, by the time we reach 65, our bodies produce less than half the collagen they once did. But that doesn't mean it's over. It means it's time to listen, to nourish, to rebuild. So today, let's start this journey together, not toward youth, but toward strength, comfort, and vitality, one bite at a time. When Helen first told me she missed chocolate, I laughed. Who doesn't, right? But what if I told you that the right kind of chocolate could actually heal you? Not the sugary bars at the checkout counter, no. I'm talking about real, dark chocolate, the kind that's at least 80% cacao, rich, slightly bitter, and packed with the compounds your body uses to rebuild itself. See, there's something magical in pure dark chocolate called flavonols and proanthocyanidins. Big words, but all they mean is this. They help your body create new stem cells, calm inflammation, and even protect your DNA from the wear and tear of time. Dr. William Lee, a doctor I deeply respect, once said, "Food can repair the body from the inside out." And dark chocolate is one of his go-to healers. I'll never forget the first time Helen tried it. I told her, "Don't think of this as a treat. Think of it as medicine disguised as pleasure." We melted a small piece of 85% cacao chocolate, stirred in a handful of roasted almonds, and added a spoon of dried goji berries. As it cooled, it turned into this chewy, rich little miracle, full of antioxidants, amino acids, and vitamin C. She called them her midnight clusters. Every evening she'd have one piece, slowly, mindfully. Within a few weeks, the swelling in her knees started to fade. She moved with more ease, more confidence. That's the thing. Healing doesn't always come in pills or surgeries. Sometimes it comes in small, delicious rituals that whisper to your body, "I'm still taking care of you." When Helen's progress started to show, she asked me one day, "So what's next? What's the one thing people my age always overlook?" I smiled and said, "Something you probably have in your pantry, gelatin." She looked surprised. "You mean the jiggly dessert stuff?" "Yes, exactly that. But not the sugary store-bought kind. Real, unflavored gelatin, pure collagen that's already been broken down into a form your body can absorb immediately. It's one of nature's simplest yet most powerful tools for healing aging joints, fragile skin, and weak nerves. Science backs it up. Studies show that people who take gelatin before exercise experience up to 37% less joint pain over time. That's not just a number. That's walking up the stairs without wincing. That's standing up from your chair and not having to pause. So Helen and I started a new ritual. We warmed a cup of unsweetened cherry juice, rich in antioxidants, and slowly whisked in 2 tablespoons of gelatin until it melted. Then we added crushed nuts for healthy fats and a few fresh berries for vitamin C. When it cooled, it turned into these soft, colorful fruit nibbles. She loved them, and after a few weeks, she said, "I don't just feel lighter, I feel sturdier." That's the magic of gelatin. It doesn't shout. It doesn't promise miracles. It simply gives your body the raw materials to rebuild itself, quietly, from the inside out. So if you've ever wondered why your knees creak or your legs feel heavier than they used to, maybe it's not just age. Maybe it's your body asking for what it's lost. And gelatin is a beautiful way to give it back. One cold morning, Helen called me and said, "You know, I woke up and my hands felt like they were buzzing, like pins and needles." I paused for a moment and told her gently, "That's your nerves crying out for help." You see, when collagen levels fall, it's not just the joints that suffer, it's the nerves too. That tingling in your hands, the weakness in your legs. It's your body's quiet signal that it's struggling to repair itself. And that's when I introduced Helen to one of the oldest, simplest remedies on earth, chicken bone broth. Now, I'm not talking about canned soup from the store. I mean real slow-simmered broth, the kind your grandmother used to make. When you simmer chicken bones for hours with a bit of vinegar, onion, celery and carrot, something almost magical happens. The collagen inside those bones breaks down into gelatin, glycine and proline, amino acids your body uses to rebuild cartilage, connective tissue, and even damaged nerves. Helen made her first batch that afternoon. She poured the golden liquid into jars and watched it cool into a soft gel. That's how she knew it was rich in collagen. Every day she'd warm half a cup, add a squeeze of lemon and a few parsley leaves, and sip it slowly. Within a few weeks, that tingling in her hands started to fade. Her steps felt more sure. Her body was finally getting the nourishment it had been asking for. And she said something that still gives me chills. "It feels like my body's waking up again." Sometimes healing isn't about fighting age. It's about feeding what's left of our strength so it can bloom again. A few weeks later, Helen showed up with a little bowl in her hands, diced orange cubes glistening with lime juice and flecks of green. "Try this," she said, grinning like a child. "It's my new morning ritual." It was cantaloupe with mint and pistachios, a simple mix that looked like sunshine in a bowl. But beneath that freshness was something extraordinary. Vitamin C, the spark that ignites collagen production inside the body. See, your body can't make collagen without vitamin C. It's the switch that turns on the rebuilding process, helping your joints, skin, and even your nerves restore themselves. And cantaloupe, though humble, is bursting with it. Just 1 cup gives nearly 2/3 of your daily needs. I remember watching Helen take her first bite. The cool sweetness of the melon, the bright lift of lime and the crunch of pistachios. It wasn't just food. It was a small act of hope. She told me, "When I eat this, it feels like I'm telling my body, you still matter." And that's the truth. Healing isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's remembering that every choice we make, every bite we take, can be a message of care. Science tells us that when your cells get enough vitamin C, they start rebuilding collagen more efficiently. But your soul already knows that when you nurture yourself, everything else begins to bloom again. So if your legs feel stiff or your hands ache in the morning, maybe it's time to start the day with something simple, something alive. A bowl of fruit, a little love, and a quiet reminder that you're still capable of healing. Helen once told me, "I never thought something as ordinary as a tomato could change the way I move." I smiled, because that's the thing. Healing often hides in the ordinary. See, the tomato is no small player in your body's repair system. It's loaded with vitamin C, that essential trigger for collagen production, and lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that protects the collagen you already have from breaking down. Think of collagen as the scaffolding that holds you together, and lycopene as the quiet guardian that keeps it from crumbling. One evening, Helen and I made what she now calls her joint saver salad. We sliced ripe, juicy tomatoes, layered them with soft mozzarella, drizzled a little olive oil, and added fresh basil. Simple, right? But here's what's happening beneath the surface. The olive oil helps your body absorb lycopene more effectively. The tomatoes deliver antioxidants that soothe inflammation, and the vitamin C inside fuels the body's collagen engine. Within a few weeks, Helen noticed something. Her fingers felt more flexible. The tightness she used to feel when buttoning her shirt began to ease. "It's such a small thing," she said, "but it feels like I've reclaimed a piece of myself." The truth is, every forkful of food is a choice, to age passively or to participate in your own healing. Tomatoes may look humble, but they're nature's way of reminding us that small, consistent care can rebuild what time has worn down. So, maybe next time you slice one open, look at it not just as food, but as medicine, softly disguised as something beautiful and red. When Helen first told me she felt stronger, that she could finally walk her garden path without holding on to the railing, I couldn't help but smile. Because what gave her that strength wasn't a medicine or some fancy supplement. It was something much simpler, a bowl of guava and yogurt. Now, guava doesn't get nearly the credit it deserves. Most people think of oranges when they hear vitamin C, but here's the truth. Guava has over 4 times more vitamin C than an orange. Just a small serving floods your body with what it needs to build collagen, the very substance that keeps your joints smooth, your skin firm, and your nerves steady. Every morning, Helen would slice up a ripe guava, stir it into thick Greek yogurt, drizzle a touch of honey, and squeeze in a bit of lime. She called it her sunrise bowl. And as she ate, she'd look out her window, feeling her body slowly come back to life, one spoonful at a time. It wasn't a miracle cure, it was something deeper, consistency. Every day she was telling her body, "I'm still on your side." And over time, her body responded. The tingling in her hands began to fade. Her legs felt lighter, steadier. She laughed one day and said, "I didn't know food could give me my freedom back." That's the quiet magic of guava. It's not flashy. It doesn't promise instant youth. But it helps your body remember how to heal, how to rebuild from the inside out. So if you're over 60 and feel like your strength has slipped away, maybe what you really need isn't more medicine, just a little more guava. A few months into her journey, Helen called me one morning laughing. "You know what's strange?" she said. "I just realized my hands don't tingle anymore." I asked her what she had changed, and she said, "Nothing big. I just started eating kiwis." Kiwis, those little fuzzy green fruits you walk past in the grocery store, turned out to be one of the quiet heroes in her recovery. They're small, yes, but each one is packed with vitamin C, antioxidants, and minerals that help the body produce collagen. and protect the nerves that carry sensation to your hands and feet. You see, that tingling many people feel in their fingers, their legs, their toes, often comes from weakened nerves and inflammation. Collagen helps rebuild the tissue that supports those nerves, and vitamin C is the spark that keeps that process alive. Helen made it a daily ritual, 2 kiwis each morning. Sometimes she'd slice them over her yogurt. Other times she'd eat them plain with a sprinkle of sea salt and a handful of walnuts for healthy fats. "It feels like my energy wakes up before my coffee does," she said, smiling. And she was right. Within weeks, her circulation improved, her steps felt lighter, and that dull fatigue she used to carry seemed to fade. That's what I love about real healing. It's rarely dramatic, it's quiet. It happens little by little, until one day you notice you've been walking farther, sleeping better, and smiling more. So if you ever feel those pins and needles creeping into your hands or legs, maybe it's your body whispering, "Feed me something alive." And maybe, just maybe, a kiwi is the answer. By the time spring arrived, Helen's life looked completely different. She was walking in her garden again, kneeling to plant herbs, even joining her church group for morning stretches. But she told me there was still one thing, that lingering stiffness when she first woke up. That's when I introduced her to one of nature's most underrated healers, pineapple. Now, this isn't just a sweet tropical treat. Pineapple contains something called bromelain, an enzyme that goes deep into your tissues, helping to calm inflammation, reduce stiffness, and ease nerve discomfort. Pair that with its natural vitamin C, and you've got a powerful combination that not only soothes pain, but also helps your body rebuild collagen faster. Helen started making what she called her pineapple nut bites. She'd chop fresh pineapple into small cubes, toss them with roasted cashews and a pinch of cinnamon, and sometimes add a few mint leaves for freshness. "It tastes like sunshine," she'd say, and she was right. After a few weeks, she noticed something remarkable. That morning stiffness, gone. Her movements felt warm, fluid, natural. "It's like my joints finally stopped arguing with me," she joked. Science explains it simply. Bromelain helps your body flush out inflammatory proteins that cause swelling and pain, while vitamin C fuels the repair process. But the beauty of it is that it doesn't feel like treatment. It feels like living. That's what food should be, nourishment that loves you back. So next time you see a pineapple, don't just think of it as fruit. Think of it as nature's way of saying, you can still move freely. You can still feel light again. It was late afternoon when I visited Helen again. The light outside her window was soft, that kind of golden light that makes everything seem at peace. She was sitting on her porch, her garden blooming around her, the scent of mint and soil rising from the ground. For a moment, she just watched the sunlight fall across her knees. The same knees that months ago ached so badly she could hardly walk without pain. Then she turned to me, her eyes bright and calm, and said, "You know, I don't just feel better. I feel like I came back to myself." That's when it hit me. Her journey wasn't about reversing time. It was about remembering wholeness, reminding the body that it still knows how to heal when we give it what it needs. It started with tiny, almost invisible choices. A cup of warm broth that soothed her joints. A few pieces of dark chocolate that quietly repaired her cells. A bowl of guava and yogurt glowing with vitamin C and care. Simple daily moments that became a rhythm, a gentle pulse of nourishment. Each bite whispered to her body, "You are not broken, you are rebuilding." We often think aging is a slow loss. But what if it's actually a deeper conversation? The body asking, "Will you still take care of me?" And when we answer yes, with foods that heal, with patience, with grace, the body answers back every day in quiet gratitude. Science says that by the time we turn 65, our collagen drops by half. But what science can't measure is resilience, that stubborn, beautiful will to keep moving forward. Helen's story is proof of that. Her legs no longer tremble when she stands, her hands no longer tingle, and her smile, that's what healing looks like when it reaches the soul. When she walked me to the gate that evening, the sun low behind her, she said something I'll never forget. "I don't want to be younger, I just want to feel alive." And I do. That's the truth every one of us deserves to rediscover. Healing isn't about fighting time. It's about making peace with it. It's choosing to stay kind to your body, to nourish it with foods that remind it how to mend, how to breathe, how to believe in you again, because the body never forgets. Give it what it needs, warmth, patience, nourishment, and it will find its way home. And maybe that's the real miracle. Not turning back the clock, but walking forward with grace, strength, and gratitude, one step, one breath, one loving bite at a time.